Hello, baby.
Hey.
How are we doing today?
We are stressed.
Stressed.
We are stressed.
Okay. Well, we talked about a lot of stuff in our last session, so it just kind of fill me in. What's been happening? What's happening?
So much.
Uh-huh.
Outside of like financial situations and now the whole roommate situation, we're adjusting to that. I know we talked about my relationship with that man. I kind of came to like the realization that I would be open to further exploring my relationship with him.
Uh-huh.
But of course, as soon as I said that, like he did something to piss me off the next day.
Oh, okay.
And so now I'm like, well, I take it back. I take it back because, okay, like I don't know. It's frustrating because it's like I'm trying to be open to something I'm not typically open to, and we already function like all like our friends say, like we function like a married couple, but like in a good way.
Right.
So when you hear that all the time, it's just kind of like, okay, well, maybe I should not. But then I had faith, like I hadn't heard from him in like 24 hours, and I get like he's busy. I get it. He's constantly on his phone for work, so I try not to press him about it. But for me, it's like if we've been talking or like we communicate every day nonstop, especially when you're staying over at my apartment or vice versa, and now you're not here and you just don't go for 24 hours, like, are you alive? Are you well? That's all. Like hey, you good? Simple text back, bro. I'm good. Cool. You're alive. You're breathing. You're still on planet Earth. Was like my thing.
So just because that sounds very, very frustrating. Just kind of taking up that all in. So what you're telling me is, after a point of time when you were considering, redefining your relationship, because the last time we spoke, you're very open and vulnerable about the fact that, you are a little iffy about, putting labels on things. So, the idea of boyfriend, girlfriend is not something that you are 100% comfortable with. And I did, and I can understand that. Introducing labels and things like that. Like people think that can be something that makes things a lot clearer, but sometimes it can make things a lot more confusing. Especially when we're talking about cohabitating, living together, things like that. So after kind of being a little bit more open to, calling what we're calling Mr. Man and Mr. Sir.
Mr.
Man. You felt like you were in a space where you feel comfortable even calling him your boyfriend. And I have to assume vice versa.
He's definitely called me his girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Many separate occasions. I remember telling you about calling me his girlfriend's sister in Spanish, and he thought I was going to know what that was. But I knew. And then to my friends. But, we go, I invite you to a Valentine's single party, and maybe he was just trying to be funny, but when one of my friends asked, like, hey, are you single? You say yes. So now I'm confused. I've never referred to him as my boyfriend, though.
Right.
And maybe that could be why he might be hesitant. Because anytime family calls me, like, oh, who are you with? My friend.
Right. Okay.
A friend. Because he's a friend.
He's your friend.
He's my friend.
But again, like you said, you were at a point you were iffy about adding an additional label.
Yeah.
But you were kind of getting there, and I do want to circle back to that in a second. But at the point where you were in that space where you felt comfortable doing that, there was some lack of communication that made you not feel. How would you say that him not being available to you, him not communicating in a way that is open? How did
insistence, not a feeling. I don't want to use neglected. I feel like that's too heavy of a word. Insignificant, to a certain extent. I feel insignificant to a certain extent because although the not hearing from him within 24 hours, when I addressed it, right? Because I'm gonna try to communicate. When I addressed it, I knew I was like, I know it's that he's not busy though now, right? Because I know he's probably gonna go out, da da da. He FaceTimes me. I didn't answer because I knew it was gonna be some bull malarkey. And he called me again, and I was like, okay, let me answer. And he was like, straight face. I was like, I didn't really want to FaceTime. He was like, why are you not in the camera? When FaceTime me, don't want to, like, no, like, I just wanted to see if you were good.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell, like, he was drinking, you know, with his friends. He's showing me to all his friends, blah, 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 all this other. And then I was like, okay, hi to the friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then he looks at me and then hangs up the call.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very disrespectful. And that's what sent it for me. Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine that somebody that you were considering calling your boyfriend getting hung up on after having a period of no communication. I have to assume that was pretty frustrating, upsetting.
Very, like, blood boiling.
Uh-huh.
Trying not to retaliate. Trying not to act crazy. Like, he had called me back, but I didn't want to talk. You clearly don't want to talk. You just hung up the phone.
Right.
I don't want to talk to you. Oh. I don't want to say it. Like, he apologized this morning when I brought it to his attention. He's like, I thought I was drunk. Said, yeah, that makes it okay. As long as you was drunk, then yeah, that totally makes it okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's never did that before.
Right.
Ever. Which is why I fall back on the insignificant. Because it just kind of feels like it was very dismissive. Very dismissive, you know? Like, very, like that hot and cold. Like, we're not about to be doing that. We either going to be hot, or we going to be cold, or we going to be lukewarm.
That's it's an interesting way to put that. It puts something a little bit more into perspective. But you stated that you were after he apologized. He said that he was drunk and that's why he kind of dismissed you in a way.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, you didn't like that.
Mm-mm.
So after that, where are you? Because you mentioned hot, cold, lukewarm. Are we in that lukewarm space, or are we starting to cool off even more?
He's trying to get to the lukewarm space, but I don't know. Maybe I need some time because, that was really crazy. I've never been hung up on my life. Like, that was
aggressive.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, and I told him, I was like, I would never do that to you. So what made you think it was okay for you to do that to me? I would never do, if I did something like that to you, you would have thrown a fit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would never, I was like, I feel like, right, we want to treat people how we want to be treated. Let's take it back to kindergarten. Right? And he was listening. I'm sorry. But then, you know, because then he tried to kind of circle it back to like, what did he say? He was like, it's because I'm not giving you attention. Can I be right? Because I was tripping. But it didn't, see, in my head though, I was not tripping because I wanted attention. I just wanted to see if he was cool because we hadn't talked. But now that I think about it, right, I was tripping because we ain't talked, because I ain't hear from you, which I guess you could kind of like simplify that to he wasn't giving me attention. I just didn't like how he said it. He could have said it better.
So, kind of, because I want to acknowledge that that little moment of self-reflection. That was awesome. Kind of seeing a little bit of his perspective. I'm not going to say that your feelings are very valid, because I can understand that, this is somebody that you care about. So if after a while, especially if y'all talk, y'all are in constantly communication every day,
Right.
going without talking to somebody, or at least checking in very simple, like, hey babe, I'm busy, but I'm doing good. That's, simple.
Right.
And that's kind of what you wanted. That's safe to say.
That's it.
But,
just a quick little I'm alive. Great.
But,
I was on your mind.
Right, you were being prioritized. But because you didn't do that, you felt insignificant. I want to go back to that. Insignificant.
Yeah, you ate. Yeah.
So you felt insignificant.
Yeah. Because, like, what the hell? What the hell? Like, he has no issues prioritizing me in any capacity. So to have this little situation where it's like I'm just kind of sitting here like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's a completely different thing compared to what I'm usually used to.
Okay. So, when you say usually used to, is this just in this relationship or in other relationships?
In this relationship.
Simply in this relationship. Okay. Can I ask this? How long have y'all been together? Or, well, how long have y'all been?
Since May.
May.
Yeah.
Of
last year.
Okay, that's a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah.
Mainly being.
It should have saved it, though. It should have saved it. I forgot it only did save for 40 minutes. How bad? Are you using your student account?
I don't even know, baby.
That was crazy.
Let me stop the pause, girl, please. What's really happening?
I think it just loaded.
Okay, cool. So he's been a pretty good amount of time as a kind of relationship. I'm not gonna put, platonic / romantic.
Okay. Yeah.
A romantic relationship.
I would call it a relationship. Often I would consider him a companion.
But kind of before the situation about, you stated that you were feeling weary about the girlfriend or anything. Can you explain a little? Can you explain a little bit?
Like the issue that I have with it.
Actually, what I want to know is what does it mean to you?
So right here, I just think expectation, standard. Like, I feel like this blanket of responsibility is like over. And granted, my friend said, like, I pretty much do everything that a girlfriend would do. He pretty much does everything that a girlfriend would do. Like, I run errands for him. I help him with his taxes. Like he'll give me his card to deposit money to his bank for work. He takes my card to give details, oil tax. Like we go out, we have dinner. He comes over to the apartment. He helps clean the house. Like we function very much like an actual relationship. You know, I cook dinner some nights and he cooks dinner. But we have, like I said, we have our little nights. So we function. You know, we have our talks, the conversations that we need to have, and everything. Um, but like I would be fine if we would just like say, "This is my girlfriend," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, cool." But to I don't know. I guess I've always been one of those people who's like, what's understood doesn't need to be necessarily discussed, which this does need to be discussed to a certain extent. But I don't know. I guess I don't need to be asked to be someone's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, and I'm not to spit on anyone who does it, but I don't need to go to a restaurant and be put on a dessert plate and write it out on chocolate frosting and eat my girlfriend. Like if we're functioning and we've had conversations about what we want out of life and everything and our values align, and we've been at it a long time, and we're walking around like, oh yeah, this is my girlfriend, like you introduced me. Okay, like okay, cool, like that. You telling me, like okay, yeah, we doing it. Cool, we're doing it.
Okay. That's thank you for saying that. Something that I did want to not question, but I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that you would be okay if he just flat out said, "Hey, this is my girlfriend."
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would ever be in a space where you're like, this is just flat out, especially since you said that y'all function together in that way that's very similar to the standards or expectations of being a boyfriend or being in a boyfriend relationship. So if y'all went out, would you ever be like, this is my boyfriend, this is us?
Not first. Very much a Lori Harvey. I don't think these men, they got a quick numbers.
Yeah.
But even she don't know anything. But like I'm not. I'm sorry. I absolutely refuse to be boo. Like men play too much. I just don't have time. So it's like if that's how you do me, then okay, cool.
You'll fall in line.
I will fall in line. Very much follow believe it.
But you don't want to.
But I would never.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I hear in my head is a young fellow trying to turn around and be like, and embarrass me. And now I'm gonna wait it.
Okay.
So,
Said it is.
yeah.
So, would you be after, because I know you said that when y'all went to the couples thing, the Valentine's Day, you overheard him say that to your friend that he was single, and he was not in a relationship. But you also heard him call you girlfriend in Spanish. So you understand. So that's two very conflicting ideas.
Very. Yeah. It's like bitching.
You have a conversation about that.
I really don't know how to. The single part, I don't care because honestly, before he got there, I had a little napkin and it was like single, taken, hungry, and hot. Single, right? Nobody believed me though, and it didn't help anything. But the girlfriend thing for me is difficult to kind of be like, hey, like, because it happened a while ago. But I was kind of hoping to have this conversation with him within the next couple of weeks. We're going to be back to this week hiatus. of that whole thing. Because in the beginning of this, it was we're just here to have a fun time, not a long time.
Uh-huh.
But we keep waking up and the days keep growing and growing and growing. I didn't expect this to last any longer than 3 months, and we're about to be here.
So, taking that in that she was dealing with this individual for a year, almost a year, and y'all are functioning like a partnership. Is it like safe to say a partnership? If y'all are interacting with each other on a daily basis, on the phone on a daily basis, going out, y'all are at each other's places, y'all are doing things together, like a partnership.
Yeah, like real bad.
Uh-huh.
Like we didn't like if he's invited into an event with his friend, he'll be like, "Oh, don't forget, you got this event at blah blah blah."
Uh-huh.
Like I'm just automatically doing that.
Join together. Y'all are a package deal.
Package deal.
So,
Yeah.
you again mentioned that the expectations of the labels.
Mhm.
Is it safe to say that you would say that you're uncomfortable with the expectations, or what is it about the expectations that is attributed to the label that you don't align with, or you don't feel that it doesn't resonate with
I don't know. I'm just honestly, I might be a little childish with it, honestly, because it just gives me the I don't know why. I will say I've never been in like an actual relationship before, so really that's probably a dream factor because I've dated before, but I've only ever had. But I've I have had past relationships. One, my first real one was in college in grad. That was terrible. And then my second one is recently of like 3 years. That was something. I didn't consider it a real relationship until like year almost 3 because we were not this with Mr. Man, this is my very first one where I am moving, like I'm actually in a relationship.
your previous relationships. It was
More friends than benefits. Those
Gotcha.
are way more friends than benefits.
uh-huh.
He did not start off that way. He took me on a date right out the gate and been dating ever since. Like actual courtship was happening. Right.
Exactly. Exactly what that is.
Right. So I guess like the idea that dang, I'm like 26. This is about to be my possible first real relationship is kind of like because like in my head now it's getting serious.
Oh yeah.
Because I've never been really serious with anyone before. So now it's like this can lead to the road of starting a family, getting married. Like I'm thinking all these things that comes with intentionally dating someone.
Right.
And I often do feel like to a certain extent he's kind of I don't know if grooming is the right word, but grooming me to be a wife with some things that I do and how I handle certain situations.
It's a very tell me about that reaction.
That was gross. Like, I've always been the type to, I never thought marriage was for me. I just, there's certain values that I love the concept of marriage. I just think, especially within our generation, I think I just have a very idea of what marriage might look like to me. And I don't think many people would agree with that mindset. So I just kind of always like just kicked it out of my head, like, nah, it's giving a long-term partner over this is not husband.
So here's the $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
What is marriage look like to you? Because I want to know. I want to know.
What does marriage look like to me? Generational wealth. Generational wealth and building that for my kids.
So, marriage is more of a financial investment rather than it being a romantic relationship. But now, you're face to face to somebody that who's already seen vision, future.
Mm-hmm.
You are unconsciously hitting all of the marks and expectations of what the girlfriend relationship would be. And so adding all of that together, that's it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
first relationship that you have with in this space with another person.
It would be his first relationship.
Yeah, but age difference. And these feelings are kind of reflecting what you feel. Because right now, yes, we all. I understand. We're all, when we go into a relationship nowadays, especially in the climate that we're in right now, it's how can you help me financially? But when we get deep into it, you want somebody else. You want to be with someone. So
Because for me, love is never. When I think of marriage, for me personally, I do not believe that love is enough. I do not believe that love is just enough for me at all. Like that whole arranged marriage, like I don't know, they kind of ate. I'm sorry, they kind of ate with that because love can grow. Love can grow. You can grow to love someone. It's more so easier for women than it is for men. But
so we have this very strict and linear idea of what marriage looks like. How is that evolving now that you're in this
well,
in this relationship?
he's very, and I feel like this could be a big contributing factor. He is very well off financially. Like he's built himself a very well empire, as you know. Um, like he's very financially responsible. Very financially responsible. Um, so I guess when I look at him, I see that part. I would not say I'm in love with him. I would not say that. I like him very much. I care for him deeply. It takes me like a year to even really know that I like someone. So there's that. But I guess in that way I look at him and I see like, okay, you're kind of like in that like financial aspect of what I do.
Checking that out.
He's checking out things.
Do you enjoy spending time?
Yeah, he's actually probably the healthiest relationship I've ever had.
So I'm gonna throw this at you. I just want you. I want to do a little exercise before we close out. I want you to take a deep breath.
It's been hard to do all day.
Exhale that.
Yeah.
I want you to kind of shake off some of the anxiety because I can see it a little bit in your posture. So I just want you to do one good deep breath in. So I want to ask you this question. Close your eyes.
Okay. Yeah, this is fine.
I want you to look at your attraction,
Okay.
the good and the bad. Because I'm not going to forget about him not being available for you when you want to genuinely check in. I want you to take all of that into consideration. I want you to think about your good marriage question.
Okay.
And I want you to think about that. What this looks like in
Okay.
you sit on that for a bit.
I don't see how we can be doing what we're doing now in a year from now, and we're not doing something. Like I feel like, that would. I can see it being the. I can see it being the thing of marriage would be found sooner than I anticipated in my personal. Like I feel like we're going to take long for me to do that.
That's something that you would want.
Don't know yet. Okay. I'm trying to be open to it.
Okay.
I just.
Let me clarify that. Would you at this moment would you want this relationship, whatever it would, with or without labels, would you want it to be to you at this point?
Yeah, I would love this. That's a great time right there. Expected. And I love that. This thing is like, he always wants to make sure that I'm happy. That's me. Like I get ultimate consideration that I do like very.
To prioritize.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna circle back to your initial statement where maybe I believe I'm gonna prioritize. How would you like to move forward in a way that you can vocalize that and make sure that your quote unquote princess is getting all of, because we all need different things.
Yeah.
Yes, the finances, like the lavishness, like yes, you can be showered in all these things that the material stuff that we want. We love that stuff.
Right.
I'm not gonna take that away from us.
Right.
But feelings and emotions like that, you want to feel good.
Right.
Especially somebody that we're building something with, whatever that something is.
Yeah.
So how do we get to a place where it's like, okay, this is how I feel in this situation. How do we make sure that either of us feels this way? Or if it does happen.
I feel like the conversation I had with him earlier on the phone, I feel like I definitely let him know, like, that was very disrespectful. I didn't like how that made me feel, nor would I want to feel that way when I do. And I feel like he understood what I was saying, where I was coming from. Just like I said, he did apologize for it. And although he was cracking a joke about it, he was like, I'll make sure you get the attention. So
You broke your office.
I did. What? Because are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to be funny? But
you feel like the apology was sincere?
Like we don't really he doesn't really piss me off. Like that's not really something I experience with him. It's very, like I said, like he always says his goal is to always make sure that I'm happy.
Yeah.
So A little bit. A little bit. I like how I handled it. I was very calm because I was about to blow up. So I knew I was like.
In our last session, you alluded to that, like when you are in those types of spaces, oh no, you're ready to lay it on thick, and however it comes out is however it comes out. So I do want to applaud you for that, because yes, it's frustrating, especially when you have these really big feelings for people, and it's the first time that you're having these big feelings.
Yeah.
So that immediate moment where it's like, oh, I felt respect actually. You somewhat reciprocate that. That's something. You have those little iffy play areas. But for the most part, I feel like you can be moving in such a direction. So this sudden switch is very jarring.
Yeah.
So you kind of like such a second guess where you stand as a couple. You love to fight.
And I'll be trying not to.
Uh-huh.
I'm working on myself. I actually am. Like, he's getting the better version of me.
And I love that.
And I'm going to continue doing that.
So the good, and then we'll close. Relationships are where we learn to be.
For sure.
The partner is often a reflection of the relationship. So I want you to sit and acknowledge that you are growing and that you're learning to communicate in a way that's productive. And when you, as you grow into that, you'll see that your communication becomes a lot skilled. So you'll find that your friends, it works in all facets. So I'm not gonna single it and just be like the relationship, like a romantic relationship. It works in all types of relationships. But you'll see relationships where that makes things 100% a lot better. Communication is our tool. Clarity is our friend.
Yeah.
You love clarity.
We do love clarity.
So
yes.
That being said, I want to highlight clarity. How do you want to I asked that a lot.
Yeah. Just take a beat. I feel like I already have a lot of external stressors going on, and it's not helping. That feeling that I'm feeling living in. So my instinct was to block him and done. But do that. Move forward, and he said he was sorry. So it's up to me to let it go. Move forward. Just be invested. Apologize. Should be.
But you know, relationships have their ups and downs.
Yeah.
And so what I want to challenge you is, as y'all continue, you'll fill me in as we continue our session. But as these little hiccups come up, a lot of these hiccups in a person are first time for me, the first time y'all are going through serious relationships. As you encounter those little hiccups, those little bumps in the road, I want to challenge you to kind of reflect on why these situations trigger you and how we can handle them in a way where it is productive. How does that sound for you?
Sounds good. Okay.
And that comes with, going back to our little exercise that we did just a little more. Just taking that deep breath in, deep breath out. And kind of step back just a little bit, So I'm feeling this way because it's why I feel this way. Kind of connect those together. Mr. Man.
Yeah.
That sounds good?
That sounds good.
Yeah. Well, anything else that you want to wrap up before we head out?
The biggest